what Donald Trump did from the election day through January 6th, the way that he meticulously and relentlessly pursued all avenues to overturn a democratic election.
The biggest falsehood told by Trump: it isn't what you believe. We were wrong to believe what Jon Stewart recently revealed. Republicans are engaging in risky behavior, and Stewart isn't backing down. We've seen Jon Stewart criticizing Trump, but how does Trump actually affect democracy? Let's take a closer look at those layers to reveal the true situation. Here, Stewart is not merely joking around. He is investigating the ways in which Trump is undermining our democratic institutions. It's not pretty, I assure you. What are our thoughts on Republican leaders who, despite their disagreements with Trump, are unable to resist him? Not good, is it? Stewart highlights the whole mental process problem, wherein politicians prioritize retaining their positions over upholding their values. How about a systemic flaw? It seems as though Trump is in charge of the music in this bizarre game of political musical chairs. This is where things get really crazy, though. According to Stewart, our democracy is being seriously harmed by Trump's influence. How? Now consider all those Republican lawmakers who are under pressure to back Trump in order to gain political capital. It appears that Trump controls the entire party with an iron grasp. People, what happened to having a backbone? Let's return to some of the details Stewart is bringing up now. Do you recall the entire crisis following the 2020 election? Stewart isn't going to accept that. According to him, Trump's actions during the election and the first 6 days of January were one massive, risky attempt to tamper with our democratic processes. And here's the thing. In his opinion, a robust democracy would examine all of that far more closely. But there's still more. Stewart is not a fan of Trump's entire rigged system narrative. People may not like the way things are going, but Trump isn't making an effort to make any changes. All he's doing is exploiting that rage to achieve his goals. Is this a classic Trump move? And let's not even discuss the legal aspects. Stewart is making the point that Trump receives far more latitude from the courts than the ordinary person. It appears as though Trump is subject to different rules than the rest of us. How quickly confidence in democratic fairness is disappearing. Stewart, though, isn't simply whining. He's making some serious points with his superpowers and humor, as when he makes jokes about Trump's dubious legal associates. He's essentially stating, hey, if you're hiring guys like Roy Cohn, you're probably not planning on playing by the rules. Trump's influence on democracy is therefore evident, right? However, let's speak about the man who has been making the most absurd points about it. Hey everyone, it's Jon Stewart. What's his special blend? How can he simultaneously make us think and laugh? With his extensive comic toolkit, Stewart is able to analyze Trump with the dexterity of a Swiss Army knife. It's important to use comedy as a knife to cut through the political nonsense, not merely to deliver jokes. And believe me when I say that there's a ton of bullshit about Trump to sort through. Do you recall the conversation Stewart had with Ken Buck? Using the zinger that Republicans who formerly referred to Trump as a con man and unworthy of the highest office of the presidency are now supporting him in 2024. He took aim at the man
who are on the record as saying, this man is a con man. This man is not worthy of the highest office of the presidency. This man defiles our great country. I'm supporting him in 2024. What is the mental process of that?
Talk about a political about-face, if you will. Not only does Stewart expose hypocrisy, but he also turns it into hilarious material. This is where things really start to shine. Stewart ridicules not only Trump, but also the entire system that permits Trump to get away with crimes. As in the time he likened Trump's appointment of Roy Cohn to striking a bargain with Satan. He stated, I think Roy Cohn was Donald Trump's lawyer and Satan's lawyer. Even Satan would say to him, like, take it down a notch, Roy.
Donald Trump didn't come into office a Boy Scout. He was probably one of the most sued individuals in New York State history. I mean, his first lawyer was Roy Cohn. Even Satan would say to him, like, take it down a notch, Roy. That's a little...
Did Satan pay his bills?
He did not pay his bills.
Okay.
But you don't hire Roy Cohn and say to him, like, and I want to make sure everything's done on the up and up. Like, Roy Cohn, I think, was Donald Trump's lawyer and Satan's lawyer.
Come on, I mean, not only is that humorous, but it's also a lesson on Trump's dubious legal strategies all rolled into one. And you know what makes Stewart so smart? He simplifies all of this complex political material and makes it understandable. For example, he stated, if you have a home office and you put it on your taxes, but you really don't have a home office, that's a problem for you, is it not? When discussing Trump's legal issues, all of us are suddenly saying, oh yeah, I get it now. Stewart makes some important points with humor, such as when he stated, a healthy country would have viewed what Donald Trump did from the election day through January 6th. That's what a healthy country would deal with.
what Donald Trump did from the election day through January 6th, the way that he meticulously and relentlessly pursued all avenues to overturn a democratic election.
That's a wake-up call concealed in a joke, not just a joke. Not to mention how Stewart can discredit Trump's backers with just one sentence. Do you recall his mocking applause when Buck left Congress undefeated and unindicted? That is a very high level of ridicule, demonstrating to us the current low standard for political integrity.
The statute of limitations probably hasn't run, so I want to make sure I'm clear there. But my goal in leaving Congress was to leave undefeated and unindicted, and I have accomplished that goal.
However, Stewart also poses some pointed questions that provide us with some genuine insights into the state of politics, such as when he stated that 100% of the folks who are running for office recognize that if they're going to win a Republican primary, they need to be Trump supporters. That sums up a full political analysis in one statement. So it's not simply hilarious. There is no remedy for the political system that Trump has tainted. However, his corruption has also seeped into our judicial and legal systems. People, what are our thoughts on the legal system? Not good, is it? Stewart has some ideas about that. He is drawing attention to how absurd it is that we treat white-collar crooks as though they are indestructible.
But doesn't that say more about this country's view on drug cases and how we prosecute them and how we excuse white-collar crime? We basically have a bargain with white-collar crime where we say, how about if you give us like 5% of it and everything will be fine? Like, isn't that not speak to political targeting?
While we give the poor people the boot for far less money. Recall 2008? Yes, that financial crisis in which, for a brief period of time, only one person was imprisoned.
I mean, 2008, the financial system collapsed and one dude went to jail for like 3 months. I mean, I think Martha Stewart did a longer stint.
Like, what's up with that? Says Stewart. Although Stewart acknowledges that the system is rigged, he does so for individuals like Trump, rather than against them. Trump too? Stewart is not holding back. He claims that Trump is merely a symptom of a much serious issue. People believe the system is rigged to benefit the wealthy and powerful, and they are tired of it. Even while his answers are centered around his own self-interest, Trump is capitalizing on that rage. It's just like, hey, I'll drain the swamp right into my own pool. This is where Stewart becomes quite serious. He's talking about how wearing an expensive suit or a MAGA hat shouldn't matter to justice. I take it that's meant to be blind? Stewart, though, is concerned that it may be keeping one eye open to see who has the biggest megaphone or the most money. Not only is he making jokes about how Trump's attorney is Satan's lawyer, which is hilarious, by the way, Stewart is making a point with that humor. Look at the company this guy keeps, he says. What does that reveal about his sense of morality? Stewart also has advice for all of you politically active people out there. Don't believe the falsehoods. He brings up the likes of Ken Buck, who quit Congress for refusing to cooperate with the falsehoods surrounding the 2020 election. Stewart once said that even in difficult times, integrity counts. However, Stewart retorts to Ken Buck's defense of Trump, saying that he was singled out for his misdeeds and that one's honesty does not protect one from seeing things that are not there. This goes to show that one's perceptions are biased. What lesson should we learn most from this? Stewart is saying that regardless of wealth or poverty, everyone should be treated equally by the legal system. He is alerting people to the risk of bending the law for one's own benefit, making sure that our democracy doesn't become a game in which the richest player always prevails is more important than merely opposing Trump. Stewart's message resonates because of his ability to strike a balance between humor and harsh reality. Then bam, he'll strike you with a joke about Trump's hair. He is discussing how democratic values are eroding. It resembles taking political medication with a spoonful of candy. Therefore, in addition to telling jokes, Stewart is also shocking us with facts, which makes us laugh out loud while simultaneously stimulating our minds. But what's the true significance here? And is there any meaningful influence of the Stewart effect? After years of influencing our political thinking, Stewart is returning to take on Trump. What are our thoughts? Is it effective? Stewart provokes thought in addition to laughter. He is dissecting Trump's deceit and accompanying it with a dash of humor. The point is, though, it goes beyond simply making people laugh. Stewart is demonstrating to us the true impact that political humor can have. He is exposing the madness, the fabrications, and the entire MAGA circus, and others are paying attention. Think of him as a mirror reflecting our dysfunctional political system and asking, "Hey, America, is this really what we want?" That's the Stewart effect. It makes us chuckle, it makes us reflect, and who knows, It might even change us. However, Stewart's voice even seems to carry some apprehension. He is well aware of the risks associated with a Trump administration. His greatest worry is that his comedy and wisdom would merely make people laugh rather than contribute to the nation's salvation. We sincerely hope that his worries are unfounded.